Yeah, also, I got added into this group chat for visas, and this one thing's texts me. She literally looks about like 18, claps as fuck. Hello, how are you? Nice to meet you. Well, you haven't met me, mate. This is only WhatsApp. Can I ask where you're from and what nationality passport you hold? Alright. British, from the UK. Looking for DTV. I just don't understand. If she can do it, she's 18, she's claps as fuck. Why can't I just do the process myself? Why do I need to use her? What is so special about this 18-year-old thing? Why am I giving her a commission? For what? So she can handle some paperwork. I mean, it can't be that hard. I feel like I'm missing the bigger picture here. I feel like how is she doing it? How has she set up a business to say that she can manage people's visas? She must just go to the immigration office herself. It opened and it inversed. Yeah, the daily has obviously been inversed. It's pretty obvious. You guys can see that right there. I couldn't believe it yesterday when I weighed myself. I couldn't believe it. 91.2 kg. And I started the bulk at 80.5. Unbelievable. 11 kg. That's mad. And I also hit a PR yesterday. I haven't done flat bench in probably about 4 months. By the way, at this point, ES can't shift structure until it gets to this area at 2.7. Now, as far as the bias, you can see the 5's going to be bullish. Also, the what the fuck is this shit? It's coming up on my screen. And the 15's actually going to be trading to being bullish, more than likely. Which in this case, obviously not. So yeah, we do have a bullish 5. We got a bullish daily. It's very difficult to get a bearish bias in this scenario. So taking shorts is highly unlikely. So yeah, I've put on 25.35 pounds in 8 weeks. And I hit a PR in the gym yesterday. And by the way, I've never been able to bench 100 kg in my life. Because my chest is not really my strongest part. And I literally went for the PR for 100 kg and I just benched it for 3 reps. So easy. I benched it for 3 reps, mate. Easiest thing ever. Easiest PR ever. I couldn't believe it. So yeah, the test is definitely working, mate. I came to a conclusion the other day that I'm not coming off. So yeah, shift in structure, inverse the bullish order block paired with a gap. The models form on the Nasdaq. The model hasn't formed on ES, and neither has the bias. Okay, so a lot of you look at other parts to do with the model before you've got step 1 and 2. If you don't have step 1 and 2, step 1 is sweep of buy side or sell side. Step 2 is bias. Or bias can come first, vice versa, it doesn't really matter. So if they don't pair together, then you don't be looking at, okay, the Nasdaq's just shifted structure. It doesn't matter. Okay, you need to stay hot on the bias because it very quickly change. But as you can see here, the 5 is not changing, neither is the 15. If the 15 is going to change into any sort of bias, it'll be bullish within 10 minutes. These people don't understand the daily time frame, mate. So if you're looking at the Nasdaq, the March 2026 contract, you can see we opened, and we've opened above the daily bearish gap. So that means it's been inversed, okay? We already spoke about this twice now. This is 2 times we've spoke about this. We spoke about this on a 15-minute candle opening above the 15-minute bearish gap. And then we talked about it on the 4-hour time frame, which we discussed and referenced the 15. And now we're referencing both scenarios. And it is opened above. So if you don't have this chart, then you've got the wrong chart. What's the March contract called? Dr. Cena, I'm disappointed in your fucking skills there, mate. How come the 4 hour is bearish? Let's have a look. Because we're in a bearish gap, mate. Holy shit. Sometimes you gotta look a little bit to the left, you know? But you're gonna see it, you're gonna find it. Yeah, the goal's 100 kg. I spoke to someone yesterday. Oh my god, did I get into a race yesterday? Holy shit. I got into a serious... the best race I've ever got into in my life. So, basically what happened, it was about 1 AM. I was just picking my ting up. She was with some friends. And as soon as I stop to text the ting and say, send the location, I was there, but I couldn't quite see where she was. ZX10RR pulls up next to me. 2024 ZX10RR pulls up next to me. Some shredded sick cunt, mate. And he says, let's have a race. So I looked at the ting. I couldn't resist it, mate. I couldn't resist the race. And holy shit, we had a race. We was flying at like 300 kilometers an hour, flying into corners, mate, like you've never seen before. And yeah, the ting had to... no, the ting waited, mate. I ditched the ting. I couldn't turn down no race. Yeah. And then we pulled up to a gas station, mate. And then I asked him, obviously he was obviously taking something. And I was like, you're taking test. He said he's taking everything. And but he was like fucking 35, mate. Bro was taking everything. But he even said he's surprised that, because he said he's done cycles where he's only put on 4 kg, and he's very impressed with 4 kg, which is fucking obviously very, very good. But he's ran like actual compounds. I mean, I've just only done 250 test. I've put on 11.5 kg. No, I'm not doing any other compounds. I don't care about any other compounds. I only do test. I don't even do test to get like looking like a bodybuilder. I'm doing it for mental clarity and mental benefits. Have I tried using BPC? I'm on BPC, mate. I'm on BPC and GHKCU. I've got them in the fridge right now, mate. I'm actually meant to be doing them now. We took a swing on the daily. No, we didn't, mate. We inversed it. The draw's bullish until the next swing high. When have you seen the daily create an inverse bias and then just suddenly take it straight away? It didn't happen. So this is the candle that inversed. The draws towards the next daily swing high, which is this one, or bearish gap. We've discussed that many, many times. That's very simple stuff. Okay, we're back to finding X again. They're talking about ES. Yeah, but, you know, they just, oh my god. Fucking hell. We're talking about fucking Wednesday, and we got people talking about Monday. Does that make sense? You talking about a whole different day. So look at this. Look, on the daily time frame, it inversed on what fucking day did it close? What day did price open above the bearish gap? What day? Fucking today, right? Okay, look at ES. It took the high the day fucking before. Yesterday it took the high. It inversed today. Okay, 1 + 1 is fucking 2, mate. Holy shit. Some of you guys need to backtest the bias, because sloppy shit there. You ain't getting scouted for Barcelona, buddy. With them fucking bias skills, mate. The gaffer ain't impressed. I'll tell you what, people who are inside of the group and they're new, I always say this, and they hear the conversations that we're having, talk about test, all of these different topics, they must think, you know, this group's fucking crazy, mate. What are they talking about? It's because we don't give a fuck, mate. We make so much money. You know, even after 4 losses or 3 losses, there was like 2 0.3 hour losses, 2 -1 hour losses, right? I'm still up 200k on the month. You see that? I lost someone's yearly salary 2-3 times. So fuck the yearly salary. I must have lost, well, yeah, a good yearly salary, and I've still made more. Gordon Ramsay of ICT. Have you guys been to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant in Vegas? He did have a very good steak, I'm not going to lie. The truffle fries were pretty nice as well. It was an overall, you know, good meal, to be honest. I also didn't really like the fact about his restaurant that he does discriminate customers. So the people who don't dress as well, he puts them at the back. Well, not he, but they're trained to put the customers that don't dress as well at the back. Customers that dress well, or it looks like a perfect date, they get to sit at the front. So that's one thing I didn't like. And I don't think I was wearing anything special. I think I was wearing some LV shorts and a black t-shirt and a fresh tattoo with a, you know, a thingy. So I was sat at the back. Now, it was weird. Like, when you go into that restaurant, it's weird. It's like the back of the restaurant, everyone just looks normal, but they're not really. And then at the front of the restaurant, there's people sat in suits, there's people sat in dresses and everything. It's just, it was weird. Yeah, 1 hour looks bearish. I don't think it can be bearish, but we have to have a little look. No. No. Yeah, all those places like Vegas, mate, they're actually overrated. Vegas is shit. I just don't really enjoy places like that anymore, to be honest. You know what I mean? Mate, what type of question is that, mate? Do I look like a fucking chef? What type of question is that, mate? So they put my name back into this. So we got a sweeper sell side and definitely a bullish bias. They put my name into the chat. British from the UK. What activities are you looking for from DTV visa? What do you mean, what activities? Obviously to stay here, mate. It's not an act. Mate, fuck. Multi, cooking, healthy, wellness, art, culture. The fuck? Yeah, let's do some art, mate. There's no way there's actually a visa called healthy and wellness. That's crazy. Okay, so it looks like I'm getting a digital nomad visa. That's what they call it. Right. You have your own company there or do remote work? I work online. I work online, remote work. Yeah, it's going to be funny to see C4 later, isn't it? He's going to be landing around midnight. So a shift in structure is occurring on the Nasdaq. It's not actually possible to see an inverse order block paired with it, and also a shift on ES at this point is also not possible. As far as checking the bias, I'd only check it if we get a clean short-term high on ES, the shift above. Estrogen activities. To be honest, from my results, I've probably got the highest estrogen in the group, mate. Pop a 5-hour energy. That stuff doesn't work, mate. Also, it's extremely bad for you. Okay, so as we put in that short-term eye on ES, it does become a potential opportunity. Potentially that price could shift higher in structure. So let's have a little look at the bias. So on the 5, well, it's quite tight. Let's see. So you can see we do have a bullish 5, a bullish 15 as well, and a bullish daily. So that would be a bullish bias. Now if we shifted higher in structure, that would be great. Now with price shifting structure, this is not going to be beneficial for us, because with the 4 hours going to be bearish, and basically it will just lead us to a neutral bias because of the 5, because this is the order block that we need. This would be a bearish order block, inverse to be a breaker paired with a gap. But also at this same point, when price inverses the order block, then the 5 is then bearish, it should be neutral. So we can't actually form a bias from price shifting structure. Oh shit. Yeah, so we've got people talking about no, we don't do drugs, mate. I've never done a drug in my life, mate. Apart from test. It's not really a drug though, is it? I'm talking about drugs that, like, you know. You enhance mental clarity. Yeah, so likely this first macro for the London is going to be over, and then we're going to be waiting for the second London macro. I don't really see too much coming out of this. Yes, that's perfect. You don't need to join any activity. If you work remotely for a foreign company or clients, you can apply DTV under. I work for myself. So we got a bearish order block on ES, which will be paired with this gap. But you can now see on the 5, the 5's now bearish. Okay, so just staying on top of intraday bias. With the 15 is bullish, we know that, that's fine. The 5's bearish, the daily's bullish, the 4 hours bearish, and the hourly is neutral. So that bias there is neutral. So taking longs here is not going to be a valid scenario. So there'll be no trade. Which would actually... This was the probable scenario that we was looking for, but the bias hasn't formed. So we are going to be waiting for the next London macro at 3:45. How is the 15 bullish? We're trading out of a 15-minute bullish gap. How is two people asking how the 15 is bullish? We're trading out of a 15-minute bullish gap. If the bias wasn't bullish, yeah, well, it's not bullish. Would the high be invalidation because it's a 5-minute swing? In that scenario, yes, you could call it invalidation high, with a shift to occur above this first short-term high and stay below this one. But the 5 and the bias has also caused it to be neutral. I never understand why when I explain price action to a T and exactly what I'm looking at, and then someone asks, are we taking this? Like, what type of question is that? It's bonkers. Anyways, I'll speak to you guys for the next London macro at 3:35. Alright, yes guys, welcome back for the second London macro. So he said, be right back, be right back, guys, car is coming, going to be fucking blue police sticks. Holy shit. Unbelievable, mate. Fucking blue police sticks. I know, he actually wrote that as well and clicked enter and submitted it in the chat. That one was diabolical, mate. Very, very diabolical, mate. Outrageous. This water's amazing, mate. Well, obviously we're going to be waiting for 2 minutes and then we're going to do our bias. Alright, ChatGPT, mate, write me a message to this visa agency called Tyrello. You don't have to spell their name in the message. And tell them that I'm looking for the DTV, Digital Nomad Visa, or whatever they want to call it. So, work visa, just put /work visa. Ask them what their price would be, how long it's going to take, and how we can get the process started ASAP. I've been in Thailand for the last 4 months, and it's going to be Pattaya, Thailand is where I will be staying. Obviously it doesn't really matter, it's just a Thailand DTV visa, mate. So just write a quick message. Okay, so on NQ and ES right now, we do have a slight accumulation. We did sweep minor sell side. There's no shift which can occur in market structure higher as of now anyway. Wait, so Jams, what actually happened in this scenario that you're talking about? Oh, okay, so on Top Step, are they moving you to a live account? Oh, Apex. And how much have you been paid out with Apex so far? So the London session is always a warm-up for the New York AM. Hence we monitor it. It does make money through the months, but it's definitely not our main income for the whole year. You know, our income stream is not from the London session. Same with the PM as well. The PM's more of a call-off. London is breakfast, and the main event is obviously New York. We got fucking Ash 10, the fucking Hazard, mate, in the stream. Bro got deported out of Thailand. So the daily's bullish, the 15's bullish, the 4 hours bearish, the 5 is likely going to be bearish in a sec, and bearish from 8 seconds time, and the 15's going to stay bullish. So the bias is actually still neutral, so hence taking shorts here wouldn't be valid, and this would be the IV for those wondering as well, which it just took. So there isn't any trades as of now outside of this second London. Yeah, there's zero shit on our futures. It's not good. So usually the way it works in the prop firm space, any of the prop firms that allow you to pass the same day are usually the shittest ones. But obviously there is prop firms now that offer same day pass accounts and then also normal consistency accounts as well, so it took a payout from 59 down to 57.5. Then lost some trades, went down to like 54, now I'm back to 57. So one of your biggest days must be like 2k. On 450. Okay, so 1,450 would put you at. So you're in the consistency rule now, perfectly fine, no? Yeah. You're going to be fine with Apex, mate. The email they sent you is nothing to do with you getting banned or anything. I mean, you're fine. Holy shit, C4 is here, mate. Where even are you right now, mate? South Korea. Holy shit. Oh my god, no way. That's probably one of the maddest places you could have said, really. Or maybe. I know he's in North Korea. North and South, I think it's the same thing, no? I think I've been there once as well. North Korea, South Korea. I think I had a layover once there too. And they had smoking rooms in the airport. I think most airports have that now, though. Wait, so you telling me that North Korea and South Korea is two different countries? That's mad. I didn't even know that. So we got a bullish 5, bullish 15, bullish daily, a shift in structure on the Nasdaq, and a shift on ES. And we've just formed a small gap here for price and inverse the bearish order block. A stop placement at the low. We're looking at 7 points. $150 divided by 7 divided by 2 is 10. Right, let me just check the 5. So the 5 just went to being bearish. So we've got a bearish 5, bullish 15, bullish daily, and a bearish 4 hour. And still nothing on the hourly time frame. So no trade. So we'd only get a long here if we inverse the 5 at 4 AM. Imagine the South Koreans, they hear order filled of C4 in the airport, mate. Yeah, so this is no trade as of now because of the bias. We need that 5 to be inversed. If we get an inverse of the 5, that will give us a bullish bias, and then we can take longs. Did I say 10 micros? Wouldn't it be 11? It would have changed at the moment. I mean, it depends. We'll see if we get an inverse of the 5, because even an entry from here would be a different entry to here. So if we inverse the 5, likely what we're going to see is a bullish order block entry for longs if we inverse at 250. Yeah, fucking hell, I just realised it's got about 1,000 bottles of water, mate. The fuck, mate. Okay, so if we inverse the 5, that would give us a bullish 5 and a bullish 15. We also got to keep an eye on the 15, but if we inverse the 5, then the 15 is respected. The daily would be bullish, and then we'll be able to take a long. And our long would be off this order block on the Nasdaq. So if we look at our entry off this order block, a stop placement at the low is 15 points, which 15 is 10, so it'll be 5, 10 unscaled. Okay, so the 5 got respected, so the bias hasn't changed. And the 15 also got inversed, so the bias has actually completely gone bearish. So we've got a bearish 15, a bearish 5, bearish on the 4 hour. So if I delete that as well. Can you drink tap water in Australia? Mate, you shouldn't drink tap water anywhere in the world at all. You should only be drinking out of glass bottled spring water, mate. There's a difference between water being drinkable and actually having, you know, good water. So now we took the invalidation high on the Nasdaq. You can see we took this high. So even the 5 to be inversed, it wouldn't make a difference. The 15 is still going to be bearish as well, as you can see. And the 4 hours bearish. So there's not going to be any, nothing as of now. One hour's bearish from a long time ago. I looked at this one earlier. I don't know if it's possible. As far as, you know, the bias being bearish, it wouldn't have formed any opportunities for shorts anyway. Yeah, so the hourly would be bearish. Yeah, that's a good spot. So obviously the bias is currently bearish. Bullish 5. Bearish 15. Still a bearish bias. There's no way these people just said DTV Digital Nomad Visa, our fast track processing time is 4 to 5 working days, 145,000 baht, and another 10k as well, so 155,000 baht. What is that in USD? $5,000. Are you mad? Like, these people, I just text them back. I said, you might as well charge me 1 million baht, must be crazy. And I only have to pay when it's approved. That's amazing. And you did that with Tyrello, right? Tyrello Visa. Yeah. I sent them I filled out their form, so I'm just going to wait until they reply. But they actually sound like a legit visa process. What's the best way to contact Tyrello Visa? Oh yeah, you sent the WhatsApp number. Okay, I'll take a look. Let me see if I can find... You think you could send that WhatsApp number again? Alright. Yeah, thanks my brother. I'll take a look at this. $155,000 baht is crazy. Because, you know, if you actually picture what they basically said, they said the visa costs 10,000 baht, which is like basically $200-300. So the visa itself costs $200-300 to actually process, and for them to do paperwork, they're charging $5,000. When the fuck was a Thai person worth $5,000 for a few hours of paperwork? I mean, that is just... They lost their mind. Alright, cool. So that's the end of the London macro. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. There wasn't any trades here for us to participate in, so hopefully it made sense, our thought process. We're going to be live for the New York session, so we'll be live at 9:20 AM EST. I'll speak to you guys inside of the New York session, and also for the PM today as well. And we'll be monitoring price on Friday as usual. Only yesterday was a non-trading day that we wouldn't monitor price. Okay, C4 safe flight, my brother. I will see you soon, and I'll catch you guys inside of the New York session later on today. What? Milo's not talking? Nah, no way. He's got to fucking talk 24/7, mate, like a parrot, bruv. Alright, let me tell you one thing, guys. I just finished a leg day, and holy shit did I hit a fucking leg session, mate. It was amazing. Did hack squat, and you know what I mean? I couldn't even walk out of the gym. I couldn't even walk, mate. I couldn't even walk out of the gym. It was a very, very good leg session. The legs are completely demolished. Completely finished. Like, the legs are gone, mate. I couldn't breathe for about 30 minutes. I was sat in the gym just 30 minutes just trying to get my breath. But holy shit, you know, we're back. I'm still recovering. I only just got out of the gym not too long ago, mate. Not too long ago. Wednesday. Nice sweep of fucking sell side. And guess what? Nice sweep of the New York open low as well. It don't get fucking better than that, does it? Probably with a bullish bias as well. Lovely, jubbly, lovely. That's going to be a high, isn't it? Pretty much that one as well. What's that? Nice bit of London. You don't want to look at anything else really. That's all that you need. Alright, so that could be anything. That's going to be a bit of buy side. Right, that's basically it. And it, oh, not quite. Who gives a fuck? I mean, Still a point of buy side. Here's the fucking OCD, mate. That's how fucking OCD it's gotta be. You see what I mean? Right. We're definitely going to be needing a steak between macros, mate. I see more meat on a piece of skin, mate, with my legs at the moment. The legs are looking good, but I tell you what, right now they are not feeling fucking good, mate. That leg session was the biggest leg session I've ever fucking done. I'm surprised I'm still fucking alive, mate. Another bit of buy side as well. Right. What's the bias? Unfilled daily. Okay, not quite. So taking previous day low puts the daily. That doesn't fucking change the daily anyway. Daily's bullish regardless, so that's good. It's very good. Oh yes, look at that. Fucking lovely 4 hour that is. Fucking beautiful, mate. Nice. Oh yeah, very fucking nice on the hourly as well. That's what I like to see for bias, mate. Yes. Quite an aggressive 15, so I'll be very fucking gobsmacked and shocked if it's not bullish. Oh yes. Very nice. I know a good bias when I fucking see a good bias, mate. Oh my god, look, it doesn't get any better than that. I mean, that is the best bias that you can fucking have. So it would get even better if we swept previous day low. If we swept previous day low, mate, and had a bias like that, that'll be a bias of a fucking century, mate. Pretty good, pretty good. So right now we're just looking for a shift higher in structure. Invalidation high is buy side. We've got loads of room to fucking displace higher. Extremely probable scenario to actually see a model here, and a shift definitely can happen. I mean, if we take previous day low, it's going to be even better. This is very close. Go on. Take the fucking low, mate. You see, regardless, taking it or not, fucking lovely bullish bias, mate. Bearish shoulder block, short-term high, both assets. Invalidation high is very fucking far out. It really is one to remember. Right, this coconut fucking water's done, mate. Let me go, let's go see what fucking snacks I've got, mate, because I think we're feeling some chocolate milk, mate. It's about to take previous day low. Nasdaq's gonna fucking take it, mate. Oh, look at that. Nasdaq shat itself and went for previous day low, which is perfect. It really, that type of prior macro price action is absolutely unbelievable. You know, you could, when you see this type of price action, you're going to start speaking like David Attenborough and really putting it into detail. You know, lovely sweep of previous day low, lovely bias, lovely short-term high to shift above. Right, I'm going to mute the mic because I don't want to ear rape a few people, but I'm going to fucking eat this bar real quick, so I'll speak to you guys in a minute. That bar was definitely something to remember. Absolutely amazing. Who's been gym? Brother. I'll tell you what, I went fucking gym yesterday. I also went for a run in the morning yesterday and went to the gym. And then today, I hit legs. And I wasn't fucking around with legs, mate. You know, I started straight with hack squat until failure. Like, hack squat until failure. When I say failure, I was fucked. And then I crawled across the gym to the hamstrings, and I did a superset between hamstrings and quads on quad extensions. As soon as I finished that shit, and I did 4 sets, then I did inners. And after that, I was basically done. I mean, I couldn't even walk, mate. Now, on a very superficial leg day, which gets even worse, I'd usually do hack squat and Bulgarian split squats in the same session, and I'd split the 2 hardest exercises with hamstrings, but I'm still kind of working back into my legs, so even doing hack squat right now is enough. But I'm gonna start doing Bulgarians very, very fucking shortly, mate. Thing is, my legs actually get really big very, very fast. They always have. So I don't really have to focus too hard on the legs. I gotta focus most on my chest, really. My chest. I don't really have a weakest muscle, but I'd say always focused on my chest and my shoulders, really. But I do Bulgarian split squats. I don't do it with dumbbells. I do it with the Smith machine, and I put a bench behind the Smith machine. It does work like a dime like that, it really does, and I do it with socks. Fucking hell, Jams, that was gay as fuck. Yeah, I'm fucking glad you deleted that shit, holy fuck. What do you mean it wasn't you, brother? You can't take back the past. That's fucking you, brother, that was your username. Right. So in regards to the 2-day pass, right, if I go to the 2-day pass on the Discord, I scroll to the top, and I read. So as I've said, the 2-day pass is in English, the English language dictionary. It says here, read first, only 50%/50.5% consistency rule firms, executed fully during the Asia session. Structure, blow one side, reset it. Okay. It's in English. Why ask a question if it's already written? You know what I mean? No offense, brother, but I feel like people take me for advantage. They take advantage of me sometimes with these questions. I feel abused. I'll be honest. Because I consider my time as somewhat valuable to some aspect. And when I receive a question on how to sit on a chair, I feel kind of disrespected. Must be Israel. Probably what it is. They're trying to get us. Yeah, it's best to do it in the Asia session. The reason being is because it's not volatile at all, so you got time to calculate everything. I can't talk about that anyway because I'm recording for YouTube, so I'm gonna have to actually edit what I just said out to you previously. But questions along those lines will be answered on Saturday, Sunday time. You know, every single weekend, you know, we go live, we answer everyone's questions, we really go pretty nice deep down into it. Fucking hell, babes, you sound like you're gonna die over there. Fucking coughing all over the place, mate. Better not give me no flu, mate. Did I get any more answers with the DTV? Oh yes, I did, yeah. Yeah, I think I've managed to get it sorted, so it should be all good. The fuck? It's all good, babes, don't worry about it. What the fuck's wrong with my Discord? Pretty got a fake phone, mate. It's pretty fake. This phone's from China. Yeah, it is, yeah. So they're looking for 35,000 baht, and I pay when I get the visa. So as of now, I'm just sorting the documents they need, like bank statements and everything, and photos of passports. But you do understand at the same time, you can just go to the immigration office and pay 10,000. I spoke to someone today in the gym who actually has a LTR visa, and he previously had the DTV. So he told me that you can just go to the immigration yourself. I don't know, apparently it's easier. I mean, I can't be fucked to go to the immigration. I'd rather just like have my passport and a bank statement, and then they just basically do the rest, you know what I mean? There's also a bunch of backpackers and sweaty ass tourists sat in the immigration. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's definitely not something that you want to be fucking hanging around. Absolutely jams. Super minor. Super minor. backpackers equals international homeless. I won't say the rest, but I fucking do agree with that, mate. You know, people, when you pull up to Bangkok airport, you know, if you've ever pulled up at that place, you're going to see some people, and quite a few white people, in fact. You don't really actually get, when you said the last word, you actually don't really get black people, to be honest, backpacking. I've not really seen, I would say, black people backpacking. I would say it's mostly stinky, unwashed, unshowered, stinky white people. Filthy. Disgustingly filthy. And they pull up, smelling like shit. They smell worse than some Indians in Pattaya on Walking Street. And they have these huge fucking oversized bags on their back. Huge. Bigger than the height of their body, you know. And the bag's almost dragging on the floor behind them. And it's the whole everything they need, you know. A few pillows. They're basically homeless. And they live in hostels. And they get dengue fever and all this stuff because they're getting bitten by mosquitoes and cockroaches. What the fuck is that shit? Yeah, I'm travelling, bro. No, you're fucking broke, mate. That's what you are. You're fucking dead broke, you stink as shit, you get no women, and you're fat as fuck. Someone's got to tell them. Everyone keeps saying, I'm travelling, bro. I'm doing this. You ain't travelling, brother. You're fucked. Especially when you go back to your home country, because you don't make no money either. So you're going to go back even broker and stinkier, and fatter. Actually, no, they'd probably lose weight, because they couldn't afford to eat the food anyway. On their so-called holiday. They couldn't even fucking eat. The fuck is that, mate? Holy shit. I mean, it is a crazy world we live in. But that is some people that do come into Thailand. And it is quite entertaining to watch. But definitely don't want them fucking around, mate. Oh yeah, I do feel very strongly about this topic, mate. Absolutely. I would love to see a shift higher in market structure as of now. This would be something... This would be one to remember if we had a shift in structure. You know, a little light SMT, bare shoulder block. We're about to hit 10 AM, so I'm going to be looking at the bias at 10 AM. Let me tell you guys one thing as well. The difference between a loser and a winner. As you guys noticed, when we had 5 to 6 winning trades in a row, which put us up, how much are we up? 5.3R on the month or something? We'll see the results when they come out, basically tomorrow or the next day. On the weekend, the results for January, official results, how much we made this month, is going to be released, as usual. And yeah, I forgot what I was going to say. I forgot. Oh yeah, the difference between a loser and a winner. What was I going to say about that? Oh, that was it. Yeah. So the losers and the winners. Yeah, thanks for reminding me, brother. So you see right now we have 220 people in the stream. When we had 6 winning trades in a row, we had 275 people in the stream. So there's 50 fucking losers in this group, and we need to try find them and ban them. You see? That's what we need to do. We need to ban the losers. All them Indians fled. But not Joe Wobby. You see, Joe Wobby's been here. He's been here for a little while, and he is a OG in the group. He's a well-respected member, very certified at this point. Joe Wobbs, he is tech support. So we have different sectors of this Discord. We have doctors, we have, you know, tech support. We have diarrhea. We got everything. And you guys also seen that Apex do pay out, as I told you, you know. So it was good to see that Camilla received her $40,000 payout as well. That was nice. C4's landing. Actually, C4's in the sky right now. He's going to be landing in 2 hours and 30 minutes at Bangkok airport, and then he's going to stay at the well, I stayed there. I don't know if I could call it a 5-star hotel, but I think they do class it as 5 stars. He's staying at the Hyatt. Maybe the route is decent. It's not bad actually, and then he's going to get a Camilla on smoke. Yeah, Camilla's on smoke, mate. That's what she does, mate. That's what we do. Right, let's have a little look at the bias as we've ticked past 10 AM here. So we know the daily's bullish. That's pretty fucking obvious. So the daily's going to be bullish for the rest of this day, most likely. No, it guaranteed is. It's not even possible that the daily even changes from being bullish. So that's going to be bullish. So the 4 hour, it was briefly bearish from 10 AM. NQ shat itself and has now hit the 4 hour bullish gap. So it's still bullish. Same thing. Hourly time frame. Let's have a look. Let's have a wander. It's bullish as well. So the bias remains as being bullish. You get C4 a wheelchair. To the gym. Yeah. To the gym. Be interesting to see what C4's saying. And the 5's going to be bullish as well. I mean, you don't even have to look at intraday bias. When you have the top 3 as the same, you only got to stay on the top 3 until one of them changes. Intraday bias does not make a difference to an entry on a position. So right now we're looking for longs regardless. As soon as a long opportunity presents, we're taking it. Could very easily accumulate from this point, and then second or even the lunch macro see potentially some sort of opportunity. Milo, what did you feel when you was ready to start trading with real money? When you started your journey, did you feel something special inside you? That moment that you feel like a winner even when losing? Well, I never felt like a winner when I was losing money, no. And I certainly didn't move to a live account until I'd already made 100k USD from payouts. So I proved to myself I was profitable on a demo account before I even went to prop firms. In fact, I did 6 months on a demo account. Whilst I was watching the 2022, I was just trying each day to implement it to price, and I was trading on demo. And I was getting used to executing. I was making mistakes left, right and centre, and every day was a new lesson. That's what I was always finding. Every day was a new lesson. I said, oh, but it was this. Oh, but I took the right trade, but the entry was wrong. Or there was always things that I was always, learning and learning and learning and learning and learning. And it's almost like every single day is a new lesson. And that happened for months and months. And then I closed out 3 months of profit, and I was satisfied with that. I then went to obviously a prop firm account, and I took my first payout after around a month and a half. And then, you guys already know. I mean, how many fucking times do we need to explain this story? But then I fucking blew the accounts, didn't I? And then 4 months after that, I got another payout, and then, yeah, holy shit, then there we are. But I don't want to speak about that fucking story again, mate. I mean, it's like, what do you call it? It's like being in the Texas jail, and everyone asks you why you're there, and you have to tell every single inmate, oh yeah, bro, I was doing this. Yeah, but I was doing this, you just fucking repeat yourself again and again. Go fucking insane, mate. But just take it slow, brother. The slow route is the fast route. I don't know why he's got so many dildos and gay flags on that message, but, you know, it's a natural flow in this Discord. We can't really stop it. It's the general population. It's what they think. I mean, I think it's a good question. But it's just a natural flow. Sometimes they can't hold themselves back, you know. But my number one advice with prop firms, as I always say, is about keeping accounts and acquiring accounts. If you can do that, you'll be very, very successful in this space. Okay? So if you go through periods of time, that's all you have to do. You need to go through periods of time. Now, if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm not chatting shit. I'm not waffling. When I say periods of time, I'm talking like 6 months. But think about the last time that you held an account for 6 months. A prop firm account for 6 months. Okay? Within 6 months, a 6-month period, it's beyond 85% chance that one of those months is going to produce an outlier month. Let's say 10R, 12R. Especially now we're trading the London and the PM as well. So that's when you experience a very fucking big payout. When you withhold and you just add. Okay, so you keep adding, and then when payouts hit, as soon as that payout hits, you just acquire more and more and more. You'll get to a point when you have all of the accounts, and then there's nothing else to get. And when you're at that point, it's great. It is actually very, very great, because the only job that you actually have, when the money hits, it goes straight to live. And then when the live builds to a point where you're satisfied, you could take, say, 50, 60, 70 or 80k out, put it as a deposit on an apartment, and you know you're making, after, let's say, a year, you said, oh, I made on average this year 70k a month, every month. Not every month, you know, you lost money this month and then you made this. On average through the year, you did 70 a month. And then you can say, okay, let's put 6k a month to the side for this year, and let's put 70k down on a place in Dubai, and then you know the house is there, so the apartment's appreciating, so then you've got that on the side as well, and then you just continue to build your live account, and your prop firm accounts basically just work for you. I mean, your trade sinker essentially should be at a point where you can't see all of your accounts. I mean, if you're not at that point, then you haven't got enough. You should be at the point where you have to scroll down on the trade sinker to see your accounts. You can't see the fucking whole screen. And that's even on my fucking 49-inch monitor. How many accounts am I at now? I've actually lost count, but last time I counted it was at 71, and then I passed 5 more, so it'd be at 76, and it could be above 80, I'm not too sure. And then I'm going to get 3 Blue Nox accounts as well, so yeah. So when you've got fresh accounts, let's say my TraderFi accounts, they're pretty fresh, right? You know, the TraderFi accounts they passed, they caught like 1 or 2 trades of that nice clean run that we had at the start of the year. They caught 1 or 2 of the winning trades. They got to like $300-400 in profit, and around that, nothing crazy really. But now they're set at 49,628. That's the TraderFi accounts. That's the fresh ones. They're risking 300 per trade, so they're on a 1x. Yeah. What's the drawdown? Well, they're currently running actually half size. They're running half size, so they're just being managed correctly. I don't actually know the drawdown. I don't specifically go into each one, to be honest. I usually go into each prop firm. I do it on the weekends, and I would look at each prop firm and then map out what each drawdown is. I keep track of it, but usually I know roughly where the peak balance was. I know where it would be for fresh accounts, because all of my other accounts are scaled. So I only have, say, you know, TraderFi and Lucid, which I know how much drawdowns left on them, basically. So I already know TraderFi needs to be at half size, because it peaked at about 50.3 and it's at, you know, 49.6, so it's already been on half size. What did he say? It's not a shift till it is. What accounts exactly you have and why? What do you mean, why I have the accounts? Well, we make shit ton of money, mate. So that's a failed shift on ES. So I've got accounts with Alpha Futures, Apex, Lucid, Take Profit Trader, My Funded Futures, Top Step again, Apex again, TraderFi. What other fucking prop firm have I got? I've basically got a lot of prop firms, the main ones anyway, doubled. Now I won't say anything. But yeah. FTMO as well, yeah. And 2 live accounts. But just take it slowly. You know what I mean? Take it slowly. Everyone's goal should be to get 5 50k accounts. Just 5. Okay? To fucking survive. Okay, if you want to be a sick cunt, you want to make some real fucking money, you're still a loser until you get 38 accounts. You're a fucking rookie, mate, if you don't have 38 accounts. So you can have a whiteboard and you can stick it on. See, I fucking got you guys there. You thought you was chilling with 5. Loser. You need to get a whiteboard and stick it on the wall and put loser. I am a loser if you don't have 38 accounts. Why 38? Because then you're making 20,000 a trade. And that right there, my brother, is where you're making more than 50,000 a month. And when you surpass that number, you are able to live anywhere in the world, but also you're very much scaling nicely and very fast, you know? That's the point where you want to be. That's the baseline that I set, is that 38 account, and the 38 accounts, I literally did a step-by-step on how to do it. It's all in that scaling plan there. So that's how you get 38 accounts. Very, very easy. And that's only with the main prop firms as well. That's not even... You don't need Lucid. You don't need TraderFi. You don't need Top 1 Futures. You don't need Blue Knox. You know, you don't need these other prop firms. The scaling plan is 38 accounts. That's just Top Step, My Funded, Alpha Futures, Take Profit Trader, and Apex. That will bring you to 38 accounts, I'm pretty sure. 20 plus 5 plus 5 plus 5. Yeah, that's 38 accounts, mate. That's all you need. You just need the 4 mainstream prop firms, and then Apex, which you full port on CPI. And you've done it. Restart the stream? Why is that? What? People got issues? End of macro. Yeah. He can't hear you. Well, I'll do it. I'll do it for my brother right there. So I'll end the stream and then I'll do it again. So we're waiting for the second day macro anyway. So we can see if the CEY can... Let's see if he can hear us now. If he can't... Oh, what's he saying? Yeah, he's back, mate. He's back. Hello, brother. I restarted the stream. Had to be done. Top priority right there. He's at the top right now, mate. No one's going to stop him. Alright, guys. So, second AM macro. Let's wait for the second AM. I will speak to you at 10:35. Alright, yes, guys. Let me know if you can hear me. Alright, perfect. So we get some ones. I'm just going to try share my screen and let me know if you guys can see my screen. I've seen a few of you saying that potentially you couldn't see the screen. I just downloaded the update, by the way. I've seen someone mention about Discord having a new update, so I've just made sure that's all good and confirmed. Okay, so how are you guys doing then? Something funny quite happened actually, guys. Do you want to know what it is? You have Erakan. Okay, good, yeah. I never really understood that Erakan stuff, but yeah. So it's quite funny, right? Basically, let's have a little look at our bias first, because it's very, very probable that we actually get a position and a shift higher in structure here, because we do actually have a very clean sweeper sell side. We slightly accumulated actually before the second day macro, which is good to see. A very small kind of manipulation period for price. And it says New York open low. It must be an old New York open low. Potentially it was already taken before. Let's have a little look. Yeah, so I mean, holy shit. Nasdaq has dropped even more. So this is like old sets of London lows. But either way, let's have a little look at the bias, because it can very easily be bullish anyway. So you can see that the daily's bullish. And then the 4 hours bullish. 1 hour's bullish. So the full higher time frame sits as being bullish. So essentially we're in full standpoint to look for longs, which is great. And then on the 15-minute time frame, that's also bullish as well, so you can leave that. As far as the 5, there's not actually much point in paying attention to the 5. You can just leave it as bullish for now, because it's not going to affect the buys. Even if the 5 is bearish, all it would mean is that we'd have a B plus long if longs actually presented, and that's basically it. So we've got our bias to sweep a sell side. We're currently sat on step 3. So obviously when you're on step 3, you want to be a little bit more on edge instead of being laid back in your chair, because it can turn very fast. I mean, in the space of 1 minute, we could see a shift in structure and then we'd be looking for an entry. So you do have to be somewhat alert on when you're on step 3. So I thought this was quite funny. This is, I don't know where the other 100 people went, but they tuned in for the first day macro. Maybe they didn't like the first day of macro. Maybe they didn't like our topics of what we spoke about, but there we are, the second day of macro. Maybe they're just tuning back in. So this was jokes. So we have someone in the group who basically asked for a refund, and he said reason for refund. Okay, I look in the description. It says, whenever you ask a question, you get spammed with gay flags. So whenever you ask a question, you get spam of gay flags. Questions asked are never answered, even though the product is described as suitable for people who are new. Okay. There is no real value in the server. Just some kids with a huge ego. The guy in charge has issues with getting paid. to have a community. And I think he doesn't understand what that means. He pretends like we didn't pay to join. It's extremely toxic. I don't mind a toxic environment if you're actually learning. But here there is no learning. Either you're experienced or not, which is exactly not as advertised. Right. So, what we shall do... Let's have a little look. Okay. So his name on Discord is Chilltime full stop. So Chilltime, if you are watching the stream, you are banned from the Discord. Instant ban for being ultra gay. So you got hit with the ultra gayness. He's joined 9 Discords as well, so this is his 9th. Obviously, he asked one question, he couldn't believe his eyes, and he's no hard feelings as well, brother. But when questions like that do slide across my table, you know, I'm definitely not one to be taking that one up for an off. I think it was a very simple question that you must have asked, because I get a lot of very, very good questions. I think he's already left. I don't even know what he's done. Who knows? I think he's already left, mate. Well, we get a lot of great questions in this group, and I love answering. As I've said to you guys, I love answering the questions. But the only people who have actually been banned from this Discord, right, is the ones who have asked very, very, you know, stupid questions. That's what they've done. Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. I quite like it because when new people join the group, I make sure they are suited. You know, every single day, I don't change the way that I speak. I speak exactly the same to you guys every single day. And those of you who have good questions, I make sure I always answer it. Because at the same time, if you are newer to ICT, then it's not that I'm not going to answer simple questions, but we have, you know, let's say stated many times, the questions that I say need a little bit more time to answer, and let's say instead of the whole audience to be there and answer a very simple question time and time again, where it almost turns into like a one-to-one mentorship when someone's paid me, let's say $100 to watch me trade live, which at the end of the day is absolutely diabolical that I'm even offering this. Okay, so when someone asks a very simple question and they've paid me only $100 and they want me to answer question after question, I'm more than willing to do so on the weekends, on Saturday or Sunday, okay? And we go over these questions on our backtesting streams on the weekends. That's what we do. You guys ask some great questions. Some people ask some, you know, normal, easy questions because they're still learning as well. So everyone's at different standards. You have to understand that in this Discord. They are at different standards, of course. And we've got people who completely understand the model and they're just here to be a part of the community. And then we've got people who are, you know, relatively new and they're just building up their accounts at the start. Maybe they've got 1 account, 2 accounts, 3 accounts. And you have to take sometimes what I say with a grain of salt as well. When let's say I say that people who don't have 38 accounts are gay, obviously I'm joking, you know, but some people they take that very seriously and they actually might think they're gay. So yeah, but I always speak to those who know us. So what I was saying is, basically, if someone's to join this community, right? For example, paying $100 and expecting to ask every question under the 2022 mentorship, it just shows me that they're not disciplined enough and they're not actually have enough effort to put it in themselves on the weekend. Because if such a simple question, let's say with simple questions would be questions like risk management, scaling with prop firms, 2-day pass. And why are they simple questions? Because I've already put in about 2-3 hours, 5 hours, 10 hours, or even hundreds of hours of time into creating channels in this Discord, which has already been answered in the most amount of detail that I could possibly answer. Risk management, prop firms, what prop firms to work with, scaling plan, how can you get to 38 accounts so you can achieve your goal, account management, how when you get your funded account, how do you keep it? Okay, that's account management. Checklist guide, what's the model we trade? It's right there. 2-day pass, and how do we pass accounts in 1 day, such as Apex, CPI. What do we do on CPI? We trade that live. So we did it on last CPI. We passed over 150 accounts or even 200 accounts. And then the crypto channel, real estate, etc. Even the backtesting channels as well. There's over, for those of you that don't know, I just like to keep you guys informed. This weekend as well, I am actually going to be creating a introduction video to this Discord, kind of just working through it so people like fully understand each channel and what is inside each channel, what's the value as well, because that backtesting channel is so underrated for people that don't know how much value is inside of that one channel. There's a lot of hours of pre-recorded videos, which if one was to say there's not enough education, then they're only joining the group because they need to make money. And this is all the money that you can make. I mean, you can join countless groups and 99% of them are going to be a scam, and you won't even make any money trading with them anyway. One sec, I'm just going to go... obviously, we are looking for a shift higher in structure. I'm just going to flip this steak. But yeah, as I've said, I mean, this Discord's definitely not for people who are learning to walk. It's for people who can already walk. And when I say that, I'm not being rude, but I'm saying if you're joining a live community where people are on the part, which trading live would be classed as advanced, okay? Because I'm already at the point, for many, many years, obviously, at the point, if someone's at the point of trading live, it means that they've already proven to themselves that they're already profitable on a demo account, and then they've gone to prop firms. Okay, so for example, someone to join, let's say, a community like this, which yes, this community is actually could be classed as quite advanced compared to, say, other communities which are more fun and games, or IFA Value Gap communities, which many people can be a part of. Now, I don't really appeal to a lot of people. The way I speak may come across as quite rude sometimes, and I don't give a fuck. I told you guys from the start, you're watching me do my job, and if people are gonna not want to be a part of the community, I don't care. I honestly don't care. I don't even care about YouTube and social media and anything. Hence why you guys have never seen more than 5 reels of the Rolls Royce that I bought. You've never seen me post gay reels of me dancing. You've never seen me post reels of lifestyle shit more than 10 times. And that's what we do. So it's always been about education, has been my #1 goal. It's the only reason why I posted a video. So when people say there's not enough education, there's all the education you need to make $1 million this year. You could at least aim for $250,000. I mean, that is completely within the radar. But I think in this Discord we may have taken the gay flags. I do love the gay flags, keep it going, but I wouldn't want newer people to think that we're harassing other members and drop gay flags, because at the same time we can never stop the gay flags, but the questions that come in are always very good. I do like answering these questions. Why price is taking so much sell side and not reacting at all? It's any reason for that. So, to be honest, there isn't any reason for it. Now, the Nasdaq's pricing lower, and we can't really come to a conclusion on why it's drawing lower. It's just naturally taking more points of sell side. Now, yeah, it is a very aggressive move. Does this happen every day? Absolutely not. So it is a very aggressive move lower for the Nasdaq. We swept sell side, our bias has remained as bullish, and this happens sometimes when our bias is bullish. We haven't lost any money, and nor has a long opportunity presented. So, we have this second macro, and then we have lunch. Now, one thing to understand as well, the second A macro isn't actually likely to produce an opportunity from that previous move. So from this period here to this period, right here, you're likely going to see a run on stops from the New York AM session. So this is where the lunch will start at 12, but the run on stops can happen and start forming slightly before. So as we near closer to lunch, 80-90% probability that price will see a run on stops. Now, this macro, potentially we won't actually see an opportunity, but when we actually have the lunch coming up, we can anticipate longs, obviously as we have been for all the other macros, but more than other macros, because in lunch it's renowned for having a run on stops in the AM. And then what does the PM do? So if the AM session has a draw lower, lunch has a run on stops. What does the PM do, for those that know? Stop hunt, no. No one's quite... Yes, I mean JP's the closest. So JP's basically said it. JP's exactly said it there. So the PM session, if you don't already know, more times than not, this is basic knowledge from the 2022, is that AM will produce the move, okay, and then lunch will always, not always, let's not use the word always, but let's put it as a probable standpoint for price action, is during lunch we see a run on stops from the AM session like this, where price would seek buy side. So this equal highs is where lunch would be targeting, these equal highs. And then it would create a lunch high and a lunch low. In the PM session, you then use that, and the PM would likely then follow the AM session. So the PM, as a probable scenario, the PM is going to draw lower. That's a probable scenario that we can say now. We've seen the AM session, the PM is likely going to be bearish. That's the probable scenario. So hopefully that makes sense. That's one thing that you should understand about price action. So yeah, don't get me wrong, we got a bullish bias. We already know that. I'd look for a shift above that short-term high. That's great. If we get that, I will be taking longs, without a doubt. And the invalidation high is going to be this high, as you can see. So we'd shift above this high, that's fine. And it's quite obvious as well that we wouldn't want price to take out this high. It's quite far out from price, which you can see this would be the same high on ES. So hopefully that makes sense. If you didn't know about how the AM, the lunch, and also the PM operated, now you know. Right, so we do like DHARA. You've not done anything wrong. I don't know if you made a mistake, but you've messed up our reviews on the Whoop. You put 4 stars. How can we make that 5 stars? I thought we was already doing enough. We produced a record January, and DHARA put 4 stars instead of 5. So now we're at 55 5-star reviews and 1 4-star. I mean, if you could, it's right. We get it sorted. I think she's still in the group. I think it's a woman. But she'll probably remove it anyway and then change it. It's all good. I mean, she put a great review, so she didn't put anything wrong. She put very knowledgeable and fun Discord, great for learning and improving psychology. Discipline is on another level, but left 4 stars. I don't know. Oh, she's back. We was just looking at your review and wondering why we got 55 5-star reviews and then we've gone down to 4.98 because you left 4 stars. It's okay, don't worry about it, but if you could change it, otherwise I might just request for it to be removed, if it can be anyway. I don't even know if that's possible. Yeah, I appreciate it. It's all good. It's all good. What percentage of traders are MES, women, and gay? Right. I would say quite a lot of them. Quite a lot of them. On social media, anyway. And they're not officially gay, but, you know, they're straight gay, if you know what I mean. That's one that you can't really explain, but you could just... Nah, I wouldn't say gay, just low test. Yeah, 100%, yeah. It's a shame because, you know, a couple people who's, you know, would sit there and say that I haven't answered all of their questions, my brain is still kind of tapering off from that backtesting session that we done. We missed a lot of sleep. We answered so many questions for a month straight. It was unbelievable. I mean, we are, for those that actually turned up, I know the ones who did. There was 50 of you. 50. There were 150 of you guys didn't, but 100, well, there's some of you guys that don't need to because, well, I mean, there's actually no excuse, to be honest. There's no point that you don't need to. I mean, if I'm fucking doing it, most people really should be. I think maybe they did it on their own, you know, so everyone's doing their own learning process. Yeah, you can always improve. But that was very intensive of it. It was very good. 2025's got done 3 times. Yeah, now Freddie, you are right. You are right, to be honest. I don't know. Maybe it just kind of triggered my OCD a little bit, but I don't really mind, to be honest. That's why I said I don't really mind, but it didn't really make sense why it was 4, not 5. Which is one of those like OCD moments, I guess. I mean, that's what it was like on, previously when we was trading live through 2024 and 2025. We had 130 or 125 star reviews. And then we actually had a similar scenario. You guys remember, we had quite a few stupid questions. Not being offensive to people that are very new, I mean, we did have quite a few stupid questions. A lot of people could agree. So I decided to take, 6-month break for mental capacity. And it must have ticked on like 1 or 2 1-star reviews because they wasn't too impressed that I wasn't trading live anymore. But yeah. Well, I mean, out of anyone, I mean, Mines can say what he likes because he's done the most backtesting out of anyone. Well, not out of anyone, but I mean, he's done a fucking lot of backtesting, His hairline used to be crispy, you could say that. Oh no, we got beef with Joe Wobby now. How does Joe Wobby get in the mix, even though he's not involved in the conversation, mate? Thing is, I think when we actually link Joe Wobby and we do a big meetup, I think Joe Wobby's going to be the most jokes. Like when we link up in Greece in the summer, and let's say, for example, what do you call it? Everyone's going to get called by their Discord usernames. You're going to have C4, Dr. Scene, Joe Wobby, Dollar Driven Jex. I don't even know Jex's name. Can you believe that, brother? I call you Jex. I mean, is your name Jex? I'm so bad with names. That's one thing. Very, very bad with names. But, some people, they remember people's faces. And I remember someone's face for my whole life. Not so much anymore. I mean, I'm getting Alzheimer's, but yeah. I remember people's faces my whole life. But definitely not the name. The name doesn't really work. Oh, so people do call you Jex. Oh, I've got it right then. I don't even know Dr. Scene's name. As far as I'm aware, I mean, it could even be Paul. Yeah, it's not a problem. Let me see if I can, I'll refund it. One sec. Let me see this. I don't know if it's going to kick you out of the Discord, but I'll refund it. There you go. Alright. Yeah, I just done that. I mean, you should get an email. Hopefully it didn't kick her out of the Discord, but I don't know what's going on there. Here's a service that helps with what's that? Removals for what though? Yeah, so as I said, I didn't see from the start of this macro that price would present, an opportunity. It's very unlikely here. And then as we start to approach the lunch macro and the lunch session in 50 minutes, you're going to see price start to rally towards those equal highs, which is sitting at 25,820. Honestly wonder what age range is like in this group. The age range goes from the youngest person in this group, I would say, is going to be 18. Potentially, I think we might have someone who's like 17 or 16. I don't think there actually is many young people. The oldest people in the group, I'm aware, are going to be around 45, 55, I think maybe 60. Maybe 60. We do have some people, but all of different ages, really. Yeah, 51. We did have someone who was around 60, so... yeah, so we got different age ranges, quite variable, to be honest. I would say the people who are slightly more active in the chat are around 20, 22, 19, 18. The people who are in their 30s, I guess they just ask normal questions. They're not too active in the chat. I guess it's just maturity. It comes with time. That's all it is. So it's very easy when you have the higher time frame to be bullish, as you can see here. We have the daily, the 4 hour and the hourly. We're getting a shift higher slowly in structure, which you can see. We have a bearish order block at this point here. And then also a shift on ES, which the bearish order block would be this one. There's no bearish order block here. This one's not paired with the gap, so we can't use that. There's no bearish order block here either on the Nasdaq. And then ES would actually inverse this with the closure, which would be paired with that gap. That's the invalidation high. If you don't know, if you look on the 5, it'll be a 5-minute swing. So we can look for an entry long, which will be a tap on this gap. But we can't take IV, which we just took. Okay, so that's going to be the end of the second day of macro. It's not actually possible to see our position from this point, and then we would wait for the lunch. Okay, so as I said, price, as we approach lunch and work through lunch, is going to create lunch highs. Very, very probable to create lunch highs, which would be, for the lunch session, the target would be these equal highs. So inside of the lunch macro, we're either going to be looking at price to still be around this area, which would be a preference, and then take longs towards equal highs, or from equal highs with potentially a bearish bias to then take shorts and continue. Yeah, one thing, suspect, is that I want people to understand everyone's journey starts at certain points, at different timings. It's very important to understand that. And it's so easy nowadays to just look at social media and think that you're behind when you're actually in your own specific journey, and you're the only one, as you know, who is going to shape your future. So it doesn't matter whether you're starting at 30 or 35 or 40 or 50 or 60. I mean, when you get to obviously 60, then it's a bit of a different story, but you're never going to be essentially behind. There is no such thing as being behind. And, you know, money is glorified. I mean, it's only a route to freedom. So if you just work on a plan and say within 6 months, you'd actually be able to achieve freedom, which is likely your overall goal anyway. I mean, money is the key, but then obviously freedom is. And you can achieve that in 6 months very, very easily if you just take the right steps, and you do take it slow. You take the 6 months slow, right? 6 months is going to pass anyway, and you either pass and achieve or you pass and lose. And in this business, it's very easy for 6 months to pass and you've actually achieved nothing, which I would say a fair few of you would know yourself. But through 2024 and 2025, at what point that you started, you've not really achieved what you so-called thought at the start, and also you couldn't even achieve what you said you was going to do. And it might sound familiar to some of you guys. Well, this is what the next 6 months, we're already a month into January, so whether people started their New Year's resolution, they have slowly but surely fucked 2026 January for themselves, because you can't just pass an account like that on January 1st. There's no CPI, obviously. So, you know, we worked through December. At least 80% of the Discord worked through December. They got all of their accounts funded within that period, and then caught all of January and December P&L. And, you know, some of you guys who have been here since October secured October on your accounts as well. The purple line is literally where you're at. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so, you know, my advice to you, Tim, is that you missed the trade, but you also have to bear in mind as well that through my career, I've missed loads of trades. Or I've seen positions, and let's say last year there was actually one position in December that we went over. I couldn't calculate my position size because it wasn't on my sheet because the stop was so small. And that was one of those positions that I had to avoid. So when you do make mistakes like that, you make sure it does not happen again, because you are the manager of your own business, and you've got to make sure errors don't happen. As much as you're human, errors, you know, year on after year, you're really going to find that, especially when you watch me trade live, I don't make any errors. I don't take a trade when the bias is incorrect. I don't, you know, and errors can come down to 1, 2, or even only 3 errors through the course of a whole year. And there'll be very slight errors, very slight errors. Last year I made 4 errors. In 2025 I made 7 errors. And in 2024 I made around similar number of about 8 errors. So year on year I've managed to lower and lower, because I've executed this model so many times. Yeah, exactly. So I will speak to you guys for the lunch. Obviously, you can see price is drawing towards those equal highs, and I'll be unmuting my mic at 11:35. Okay, hello guys. Hope everyone's doing well. So looking at the lunch macro, so we have a sweep of buy side, as you can see, and we're going to have a look at our overall bias. Now, I was monitoring price, hence why we've pulled up our bias slightly later. You know that the daily is going to be bullish, so's the 4 hour, so's the hourly. Okay, so the bias is bullish. The 15 is bearish, and as we said, intraday could be bearish, but full higher time frame, it does sit as bullish, which can't be outweighed. Now, we would get a bearish bias once the hourly bearish gap gets traded into, which potentially is going to be, yeah, just above equal highs. So as far as looking for longs, definitely a scenario that could happen. We would need a sweep of minus sell side, so below this low. So as we said, you know, before we approach the New York lunch, price already started to have a run on buy stops. You can see it happened before lunch even started, and lunch would likely just continue this, and it's going to draw higher. And it will definitely likely get to a point where it takes those equal highs. We can't look for shorts, obviously, because our bias is not bearish, it is bullish. We would like to see some sort of sweep of minor sell side, and this would be an example of a continuation for longs in the lunch. Simply that price is in this kind of obviously higher time frame discount, as we know, lower time frame premium, and it would just take minor sell side, and then we just look for price to continue towards equal highs. That's the only probable scenario that we could get here inside of, you know, lunch. We do have accumulation, and we have slightly manipulated the high, so potentially it might distribute towards minor sell side. That would be the preferred scenario, and then we can look for longs from there. So hopefully that happens, and then from that point we can look for longs. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. What's the one in the chat? Usually we put ones in the chat. It basically just, it's like an audio test. So if we do the, if you guys can hear me, and then they put a one in the chat. Also, sometimes we do a one for the screen as well. So a one just like kind of confirms everything is working, because Discord doesn't, it's not renowned. So Diego said, guys, I made that purchase in the previous macro at the fair value gap price. Does this entry seem okay to you? We haven't taken any trades today, so there wouldn't be any valid trades, Diego, so far today. So if you've taken a trade, it definitely wouldn't be valid. It would be good if you went on to trade Zeller and backtested that trade and referenced that trade to see if it met this checklist. That's what I would be doing today, just looking at that trade if I was you on Trade Zeller and referencing it with that checklist. So any trades that are valid as far as following this specific model, maybe you took a trade which was on a different model, maybe you took an I for value gap trade or whatnot, then that would not be something I'd be able to comment on. But as far as this model, there hasn't been any trades, and if there is a valid trade, you'd see it on this screen. We execute on this screen in front of you, so you'd see it. Milo, you on any peptides? I know you're big into health. Just curious, is any supplements or peptides? Yeah, so I actually take a lot of supplements. I do take peptides, and I also take testosterone as well. So I'll kind of give you guys a rough breakdown of what I take. So obviously, before we get into that, we do have a bullish bias, as you guys know. The daily, the 4 hour, the hourly, that can't change. And the one time frame that can change, we need the hourly to change if we want to look for shorts. Now, if we look for shorts, it will be in the PM session, because it means that lunch has retraced on buy stops to trade into the hourly bearish gap at 869. And then we can look for shorts from PM. That's the only way that we could essentially look for shorts. Or we create this hourly actually in 7 minutes. That's actually the probable scenario. And that would be a full bearish bias. Well, not full, but overall bearish bias. And we could look for shorts from there. So definitely another scenario there. Am I pinning test? Yeah, I am. So let me just... Give me 1 second. I'll get my supplements and I'll tell you guys exactly what I am taking. So I'm taking quite a few supplements. I mean, let me just get them all out. Right, I've got all of the supplements here. So I can basically tell you guys what I take. So I mean, I do take ashwagandha, actually, as one of them. So I mean, as far as taking ashwagandha, most people see it as increasing testosterone, but when you're taking testosterone, it's not really not going to make much of a difference. So basically what I take, let's start with something simple. Well, I take fish oils, and I buy pretty much all of my supplements are mostly from Holland and Barrett's in the UK. So you guys might know Holland and Barrett's if you're from the UK. But majority of the supplements are from there. Some of them are from different places. Some are from Dubai, actually. So start with fish oils omega-3. It's 1,000 milligram EPA plus DHA omega-3 per serving. So I take one of those a day. So I'll write this in the chat, because obviously we are monitoring price, but we can't force a position, unlike some other traders might be able to force a position. It's just not a probable edge. So I think this is a good topic to speak about. I mean, this is about health, isn't it? And recently I've improved my health massively, very massively. So it'll be fish oil, 1,000 mg EPA. That's the first one. So everyone knows about fish oils. Who doesn't? So the next one is one that you probably don't even or ever heard of in your life, but this one is a little bit more expensive to get. But it's, you know, it's not the price of diamonds. So I bought this one in Dubai, and it's called PY, so Piscinogenol. Piscinogenol. PYCNOGENOL. And this is a anti-aging and supports cardiovascular health, includes antioxidants, etc. So this is this was personally recommended to me by an actual doctor in Dubai. I paid for a session and just basically worked through my general health. I did some blood work as well, and etc. And this was one of the things that was recommended. And I take one per day, which is 100 mg. So I'm writing this in the chat because you might not know what that is. So the next thing that I take is just a multivitamin. So I take essentially just one of these a day. And it's from 30 plus raw whole foods. Vitamin B, all of the vitamins inside of here basically. It's just a multivitamin, and it says it's for men. I mean, take one of those. So core, multi. And you got to be consistent with this. I mean, you're not gonna see results within a week or two. I mean, you have to be very, very consistent with this. And yeah, it's very important that you stay consistent, other than not taking it. So before I go to sleep, this actually helps massively with sleep. I take magnesium and zinc, and I take 2 of these tablets a day. And the actual strongness of, so the magnesium is well, it's 20 milligrams of zinc for 2 tablets, and it'll be 500 or 600 milligrams of magnesium, I think. I'm pretty sure. And it's magnesium glycinate, the one that you want, the good magnesium. Magnesium. Now, I know a lot about different supplements and whatnot. I mean, you know, my dad's always talked about it for his whole life. I mean, my dad eats raw garlics and raw ginger in the morning, and he's educated me on many different things. I mean, even my granddad, my whole family on my dad's side really is kind of a bit crazy when it comes to health. But my granddad cured stage 4 cancer patients, terminal cancer patients, who said that it was going to die in a month. So I've learnt a lot over the past. So that's that one. And then I take this is a multi-tablet, so it's got sea moss, black seed oil, burdock root and ashwagandha, and it's each tablet's made out of specific vegetable, basically. Okay, so if you look at ES, you can see, yeah, we can shift higher above this short-term high, which is fine, and we have swept sell stops, you can see, below this low and this low, and this would actually be a continuation for longs. The IV is obviously at this high for ES, so if we mark that, we know the bias is bullish, so we don't need to reference it. We have just gone 12, so I want to check where the hourly is, which is in pretty close range, right? So 739. So this high is the IV on NQ. That's the IV on ES. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense. We got an inverse order block with an overall bullish bias. Let's see if we get a shift in structure, which will be above that short-term high. We'd look for a long off this area for price, only if we get a shift on both assets. As of now, we're looking at 17-point stop, which would lie us with 9 micros, which you can put it down as 5 for half size. Okay, so ES just took that IV, so that now puts the traders invalid. We took a 5-minute swing high. So basically, now we go back to this topic. So this is a multi-tablet CMOS black seed oil, burdock root, and so yeah, obviously the hourly has now gone bearish. We potentially got a bearish intraday as well, so keep that in mind. We would be looking for shorts from this point. So now that's out of the way, the other supplement that I take is, this is for supports healthy urine, I don't know how you say that, track function. It just makes sure your cock is, I don't know, I guess your liver and everything is just working fine, mate. So this one just keeps everything chilling, you know, healthy. So I'll put that in there as well. Yeah, I knew you guys would find that quite funny, but UT answer. I'm gonna add this to the health section in the Discord. We do have a health section in the Discord actually. There is a few things that I am taking which is different than before. So, I mean, I only just started peptides etc. recently, so. Alright, so that's basically like the final supplement. It's basically just that that track system, the CMOS. Oh no, there's actually one more. One sec, this actual stream. Let me reshare the screen here. Erican. One sec. Let me do the Erican. Okay, so Erican's back. The final tablet that I take is a garlic. So it's literally purified garlic. Not purified, it's just very pure, you know, I don't really know the word. Very pure garlic oil, and it's in a pill. Garlic tablet. It's extremely strong, it's the strongest one you can get, just one tablet a day. And the tablet itself actually smells like garlic, so you just hit it quite fast, but it's better than eating garlic. So, one of those tablets. So that's all the tablets, so it's a garlic tablet, the Urani, whatever you call it, track function, CMOS, zinc and magnesium before you sleep. That finest Selenol, the anti-aging one. Multivitamin and fish oil. That's it. So the other one, this one is comes in a little tube. So this is what I drink in the morning each day. It is a collagen peptide with biotin plus zinc. Now this is about. Well, it's meant to last around, I think, 30 days. But essentially what this is, right, is a collagen peptide. And you drink it. I have one a day. And it's about $350, $400 a month. So probably not worth it for those of you that are trying to optimize your health. But this is like if you want to take it a little bit further. I'll put the brand anyway. So this is Doppel Hertz. Yeah, I'm writing this in the Discord chat now, so once it's out, I'll kind of post it. Yeah, and this usually tastes. I don't really know what this tastes like, but it tastes quite nice. It's not bad. You just drink a little tube. It comes in just a little tube, really. You just crack it. One tube, drink in morning. Alright, so now that's out of the way. Now we can get to what we inject. So I do 0.2 mil. This is what actually was the question that started this. So 1 times 0.2 mil of GHKCU, and then I also do each day 1 times 0.2 mil of BPC 157, and then I do 0.6 mil of a 1 mil syringe, you know, a 1, I don't know how you say it, 1 mil syringe, whatever. 0.6 m Monday, test E, and 0.6 m Thursday, test D. That's everything that I take. I know it looks like a lot, but it's really not. Actually, no, there is one more thing. I also obviously take creatine, 10 grams a day. So that's everything. That's everything I take. I know it looks like a lot, but it's really not. I mean, you know, I just put these all in one hand in the morning, and then I smash them down, and it really doesn't take up a lot of time. Dr. Scene put a gay flag on it. What was the reason for that, brother? What do you not approve of there? So right now we got a sweep of buy side. You would be looking for shorts. So yeah, the 5 did get inversed, which you are correct in saying that the 5 is actually bullish towards the next 5-minute swing high or bearish gap. And then if you look at the 15, the 15's trading open, so the 15's still going to be bearish. So the hourly's bearish, 15's bearish, and the 5's currently bullish. The 4 on the daily, I mean, that's not really going to change anytime soon. It won't even change towards the PM session. Well, actually, at the PM session at 2 PM, the 4-hour could inverse, which is a probable scenario. We'll see. Let's not predict the future. But that's the bias that we're standing with right now. Still a bullish bias. We couldn't take longs in this scenario. We took a 5-minute swing high, which, as you guys know, is an invalidation high. Anyone here with Lucid? Yeah, I got 5 accounts with Lucid. I do recommend them. I haven't actually been paid out from them yet because I only just acquired them very recently. But I do recommend Lucid as a firm. I think they actually have some potential. They have a lot of money running through them as well at the moment. And it's good. And so is Tradeify as well. As much as Tradeify has a consistency rule on the funded accounts, it's definitely a firm that you can leverage, and you shouldn't run into any issues with the consistency rule if you're just risking 300 per trade, because your balance isn't going to get to, it doesn't have to get to a substantial level to where you need to get to it so you can get paid. It's going to be at a normal level. So once you reach around $3,000, you're going to be within the consistency rule on Tradeify. And let's say, for example, you made slightly more, maybe $800 on a day, then you're going to have to go to about 3.5 or 3.8. You're still going to be able to take that money out from 3.8. You can take around a 1.5k cap payout, I'm pretty sure, with Tradeify, etc. But, you know, you're not going to have issues at all. So you should definitely have all of these firms. I mean, you know, Take Profit, Lucid, Tradeify. But start with, you know, the number 1 firms first. As you guys know, Top Step is where you start, really. And then you got Alpha Futures, and you have My Funded Futures and Take Profit Trader. Those ones are like your, I don't like to use the phrase, I think it sounds a bit gay, but the bread and butter. That's your cement, that's your foundation. Let's use the word foundation. That's your foundation. And when you start hanging flowers up in the apartment, that's like Lucid, and, you know, Tradeify. Your final touches. Oh, and then, you know, when you're watering the flower, then you got Top 1 Futures. And then when you move out of the house, because you can't even use Tradeivate, you're going to use Blue Nox. So that's how I tier the prop firms. I'm not saying Blue Nox is bad. I mean, I just don't know why they would use NinjaTrader. It doesn't really make sense. I mean, they seem like a good firm from what I can see. They don't really want people who are just gonna full port their accounts, or they don't want the bad audience, essentially. Yeah, from what I've seen, I actually think Top 1 Futures is actually, you know, from what I've seen, a very good firm. I even spoke to their live support, and I had an agent speaking to me, answering every single question that I asked, and it was good. Oh, okay, so Blue Nox have a 90% off sale. Oh, right. I've only bought 1 account with them so far, and I was going to run them on CPI, but I don't really understand with Blue Nox how to... I understand, I just Haven't spent time really on it yet, but I'll get NinjaTrader set up for it. Yeah, because Jack, don't you think that I should be able to collect the Blue Nox accounts on TradeSync, no? If I just go onto TradeSync and log into Rhythmic, because I tried that and it didn't work, so I was kind of confused why it didn't work. If you guys are wondering what the thing's listening to, I don't have a flying clue what she's listening to, mate. As you can see, price is drawing towards those equal highs, and it is running us towards the end of the lunch macro. I'm connected through Rhythmic. You have to download Rhythmic and sign a thing first. Oh, okay. And if I was to download Rhythmic, I can't do that on the MacBook, right? I have to do that on the Windows, is that correct? Download Rhythmic. And when you say download Rhythmic, do I download NinjaTrader? Or do I download Rhythmic? Because I'm actually kind of a novice when it comes to using NinjaTrader. Okay. Yeah, Rhythmic is not good, no. So I'm going to see if I can download Rhythmic on the Mac. Oh, I can't install Rhythmic on the Mac. Okay, so I'll use the other laptop. I'll use the Windows and download Rhythmic. So I don't download NinjaTrader, I download Rhythmic. Yeah. You see, let's have a look. I never download things out of what people put in the chat, but when Jack puts it in the chat, we are downloading that. Okay, so I've downloaded it on the Mac. I'll give that a go. If not, I'll use that same download onto the Windows. I do appreciate the help. Agree the terms and then connect through TradeSync. Yeah, so to be honest, you know, that's an easy process. Once you've signed the contracts, you can connect that to TradeSync and no problem, and then you've just got more accounts running with Blue Nox. And if the prop firm goes bankrupt, I mean, we don't know too much about it. I will tell you guys one thing about a prop firm that is I've been keeping my eyes on a little bit. There's one called the Trading Pit. Now, I've been looking at this Trading Pit, and they actually own a lot of companies outside of the Trading Pit. They own OpenAI and a lot of very billion-dollar big companies, you know, and they'd be more than willing to pay you out, which is a great sign. So I am actually looking at the Trading Pit as another one. I don't actually know too much about them, whether they're even futures or not, but I do have a friend in Bangkok who suggested me about this prop firm. They require risk management scaling into max allocations versus Apex. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Alright, well, I'll speak to you guys for the PM session. A couple people dropped off already, they already know. And we're going to end the stream here, and then we're just going to essentially go live again, which will be at 1:35 PM EST, so in an hour and 15 minutes. I'll speak to you guys again. Hey Marlo, if you made a video about this, let me know, because I know I talked about this before. You had issues with getting paid out in the past. So paid out in the past with, are you saying Apex or because I've not had issues getting paid out with any prop firm apart from Apex, and that was only one time, or two times actually, two times with Apex. But they've paid me out a substantial amount. I mean, you guys shouldn't be worried about getting paid. Okay, so I got to the point where I got paid out substantially, and you're going to be just fine. But I'll speak to you guys for the PM session, okay? So, hour and 15 minutes. I'll speak to you guys shortly. I seen someone mention earlier that Bitcoin was down. I didn't realize how much it was actually down until I checked my portfolio and realized that I was up over 15k on the day. But it is down to $84,000, which is good to see. I mean, you know, we have been in this trade for a few months. You guys can see Bitcoin, look. It's down 6% at 84. I got my TP at 75, so I'm not too sure how much I would make when Bitcoin does hit 75, but I'm just going to manually close my position when it does. But I'll definitely be looking around 130k profit, I'm pretty sure. We'll see. I took it at very low risk on the crypto portfolio. I'm actually going to put a little update in the crypto channel in the Discord of the position. I haven't really put an update since Bitcoin hit 80k because it consolidated for a little bit of time. So this is good to see. We just inversed the bullish order block and we shifted structure on the Nasdaq and ES. So all the Nasdaq has to do is to prove that it can hold below this low, which would form a bearish gap, which would actually trigger us into shorts. Now, yes, that is correct. We do have the 5 as being bullish. And then if we look at the 15, it's obviously the same. So this is going to be a scenario in the PM session that if we hold below the 5 and it gets inversed, then we can take an entry short. So the 5 dictates the bias in this case. So you wouldn't essentially take a short straight away off this bearish gap, which ES is very close to closing that up, which it just did. So obviously ES closed it up, but that wasn't what we was really looking at. The bias is actually bullish, but it can very easily tick bearish, which a lot of people, they don't really pay attention to it as much as they should, which is very important. So you can see on the 5, if this 5-minute bullish gap was to be inversed, then it would actually tick us on to having a bearish bias. What about the 4 hour? Yeah, so the 4 hours bullish. I mean, we can re-look at that if you want. Is Milo talking? Yep. You guys can hear me, right? Yeah. It must be the most peak thing. Watching the live stream, saying, is Milo talking? And then you just see a load of ones in the chat. So yeah, the 4 hour is bullish out of the gap. I mean, you know, what else would you want to look at from that standpoint? We got someone called Falcon. Seems like a newer name in the chat. Are you newer to the Discord, brother? Falcon said, don't short guys, we're bullish. That is correct. I mean, the bias is bullish. Absolutely 100% correct. Definitely don't take a short here. There's a failed shift on ES, and also the bias is currently bullish, so but every time I've been in here you've been wrong. Alright. Have I taken a losing trade, or what do you mean by being wrong? Because when you said being wrong, I haven't been wrong. I haven't made a mistake this whole year. Well, obviously 30 days in, but I haven't made a mistake. I'd like you to elaborate on that. How do you like genocidal? I don't know what that is. I've not really heard of that word before. Nah, guys, chill. I mean, it's nothing crazy. You don't have to go go too mad. He's obviously got a perspective, but it takes him a little bit of time. You know, he's got to learn. Well, I paid for this Discord, and you talk too much instead of taking trades. Yeah, just kick me out. Doesn't matter. Like, no, I'm not. Guys, look, I'm not gonna just kick him out. But he hasn't actually been in the group long enough to understand the way that we monitor price. Obviously, he's been in probably quite a few Discords, and he's got a perspective of that. So what I'm getting from what I already understand of the way that, let's say, he has an outlook on monitoring price is that he basically says, I'm locking in now, let's take a trade. That's all it is. So he doesn't really have a set of rules. He doesn't have a standpoint to say this would be a position to take. Or maybe he's already at the bias where we're completely unprofitable and everything's opposite already for him. But he just hasn't really took the time. That's all it is. Since you talked about going short, yeah, so I was about to take shorts, and the bias actually changed to being bullish, and there was a failed shift on ES. It's fine. I mean, you know, look, people are always going to have a perspective which would be opposite in different scenarios, you know. There's always going to be, on a losing day, someone who's having a winning day, but doesn't mean they are going to sustain that over a longer period of time. And as you guys know, that's what we've done year on and year out. There isn't actually, or very extremely few people who actually have the track record like I do. So it's a work of art, and it's also a massive testimony for my success is you guys, really. I mean, the only reason why we got such a strong Discord is because of the years of work that we've put in, which is great. Well, look, so I'll explain, Falcon, about your point of view. Now, I'm actually energized, but not energized, I'm motivated to help you actually succeed, because your perspective to say that go long, you'll make money, thank me later, you don't understand the reason why to go long. The only thing that you might understand is that there's a sweep of sell stops on the short-term low, which is very, very significant. Not significant, insignificant, I mean. It's a very insignificant sweep of sell side. And it was a failed shift on ES, which technically does mean that price is going to draw back to buy stops. Okay, but you going with the perspective to say, take longs, thank me later with the money. I never say that to anyone when I take a trade. The probable outcome to taking a position is completely random on that specific trade. Always completely random. You can never say whether a position is going to thank me later. Even when the positions look, doesn't matter if they look A plus or they are A plus or B plus, it doesn't make an absolute difference to whether it will play out. But the reason why, also going back to the point where he said I talk a lot, I like to explain my thought process. I've always done this, you know, since the dawn of time, 2024 in January. And I think it definitely helps you guys understand my thought process. And with time, the reason why I do these live streams is not so you guys can make money, but also so you guys can make money, but learning is the main topic, right? Because I'm not going to be around forever. I'm not saying that I'm going to die, but the live streams are not going to be around when I'm, say, you know, 25 or even 30 years old. So I will make sure that every one of you guys do succeed, and you are actually knowledgeable to your own standpoint when you can trade yourself. And you just have to make sure, you know, you take this journey slow and give yourself outlooks of 3 months and 6 months and achieve your goals. But it's very easy in this business to get distracted by, you know, certain people like Falcon. He's just an example of many. But he's still very new to the space. I think that he say is very, very... I don't know the word for it, but, you know, the way that I explain stuff sometimes, I struggle to explain my words. But you would kind of get the gist of what I'm saying. No, he's not entitled. Is I don't know, inexperienced, you could say, but he just needs some maturity, really. But yeah, I mean, you know, the 5's still bullish, so his standpoint for longs, he doesn't understand the reason why he's got... In his head, he understands a reason and a standpoint for longs. Now, I know I'm giving this topic a little bit too much thought, but the standpoint for longs is a probable scenario that price will draw to the high. It's not a position that you would capitalize on, though. And now price is heading into this accumulation period, so now we'd look for it to manipulate, preferably the high. Okay. So that's also another standpoint that Falcon has also showed his inexperience on again. So whether you catch a position of 400 points, 500 points, 1,000 points, or 5 points, you can make the same amount of money on a 5-point position than you can on a 1,000-point position. And this is one perspective that I see again and again. A lot of people, it's just simple maths they don't understand. X is that your position size dictates how much you're going to make on a period of 50 or 100 points. It doesn't matter based on points how much you secured. It's based on risk to reward and how much you risked and how much you're actually aiming for. So that's another standpoint that he has not, well, misunderstood. He's also looking at more of the higher time frame. So he said we took all liquidity. This is good lessons. I think, you know, looking at his errors that he's making time and time again, it's very good to go over. I'm not coming at you, brother. I'm just pointing the obvious, really. So he said we took all the liquidity below, but he doesn't understand about the different sessions. So obviously you have the New York AM, and then during the New York lunch, it's a run on stops, which we had, and the PM usually follows on from the AM, which is likely going to draw to sell side in a probable scenario in the PM. That's just probable situational analysis that you guys should know. And a touch on the 4-hour gap made a huge rejection. Now this is another error that he's made. So this error is that he's basically taking positions based on, you know, the 15 to 30 minute outlook, because he's trading on the 1 minute time frame. And he's building an overall bias on the 4-hour time frame, which consists of, you know, hundreds of 1 minute candles. Now, the overall bias on the 4-hour is definitely bullish, right? Okay, so I'm just putting this into perspective. And I agree, the 4-hour bias is bullish, and so is the daily. So the overall course of towards the end of today, or even going into tomorrow, price action is likely going to trade bullish. Now, when you actually use intraday bias, which is the one thing that we actually dictate a position on intraday, lower time frame, that's very important, because it then dictates where price action is likely to draw in the next 5 and 15 minutes. Instead of the 4-hour, which gives you the overall view on draw on price, we get intraday, which gives you an idea as well with the higher time frame on where price action is likely to draw overall. And then you put that alongside a sweep of liquidity as well, which you previously messed up. Yeah, I mean, I could talk to you guys all day about this, and we already have spoke a lot, you know, back testing, and we are going to be going live on the weekend as well. I know we are monitoring price inside of London, New York AM, and PM on Friday, but we'll be going live on the weekend as well to answer questions that you guys want to ask. I know some of you are probably sat there, they don't even want to ask a question because they're going to get hit with gay flags, but feel free to ask questions. I mean, there's also going to be a good point to ask questions in more detail on the weekend. Okay, so you can see we shifted structure on the Nasdaq, as you can see, and price did at this point tap this short-term high, which is fine. We shifted structure on ES. Now this gap here on the Nasdaq is not paired with anything, and then as far as ES, is actually flush with an inversed order block. So we can see if we get an entry short off this gap, but we need to look at the 5, which inversed, and it is bearish. So that's fine. We do have a bearish bias, and we're looking at 23 point stop. So that's going to be 7. So it'll be 4. And then we just took that invalidation low. Okay, so that invalidation low on the Nasdaq just got taken, so there wouldn't be a position for us to take here. Invalidation low explanation in this scenario is that we displaced below this first low, we had the second, and then this one is the third, which we shouldn't have taken. So I won't be taking shorts in this scenario. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, what Jack R said, questions don't deserve gay flags. I agree, but gay questions do deserve gay flags. Yeah, I do agree with that. Yeah, I don't see the inverse order block. So the one that we was looking at was the one on ES. Now obviously the trade got invalidated from taking that IV, but the order block we was looking at on ES was this one. So we have this down close candle engulfed by this up close candle, which would be a bullish order block, and whether you want to label it as a breaker block or a mitigation block, that wouldn't matter in this standpoint or any standpoint to take in a position. In this scenario it would be a breaker because we took a short-term high, which you can see, and then we inversed it, so it'd be a breaker, and it's flush with the gap, which is fine, but we took the invalidation low, which you can see there. So that was the order block that I was looking at, which is flush with the gap on ES. And then on NQ it's not paired with anything. So to look at NQ, you'd see that it's not paired with anything, and then on ES it's flush. We've taken positions, you know, before as well where it's been flush, but it can be flush or it's, you know, wicked in to the gap. Milo, in this scenario, why wouldn't you consider that 5-minute swing low to be a sweep of sell side? So with a 5-minute swing low, for example, when price is going to shift structure, you can see it's not physically possible to shift below 849 and not take 846. So in a scenario like that, when we have two 1-minute lows extremely close together, then it's not possible for price to even perform what it is attempting to perform. So that's when you either have it as a 5-minute swing low, which would invalidate a trade, which I understand this is a 5-minute swing low, but when it's extremely close to what we're actually shifting structure, then this wouldn't be a scenario which would invalidate the trade. So then you would use the third 1-minute short-term low slash high, if that makes sense. Yeah, exactly. Context matters. So context definitely matters with the invalidation low, but you guys do get used to it with time, because you also have to picture as well, when we take buy side and then we shift structure below the first low, it's not going to be a valid shift in structure if we shift below this low and then somehow form a gap, which is extremely improbable that that even happens. So it wouldn't be a valid shift. So this wouldn't invalidate a shift, if that makes sense. So this one would. You can see it's got plenty of space for price to shift, and it shouldn't end up taking this low, which ends up being actually the third short-term low. And then Jess Quant said, now we look for longs. So if we look at the bias, you can see on the 5, it's actually ticked back to being bearish out of this 5-minute gap here. So we took the 5-minute low, which was neutral, it went bullish, the 5's bearish, and then if you look at the 15, you can see that the 15 is currently bearish as well. And then on the hourly, you can see the hourly is still bearish. So the number one thing that you guys pay attention to is the bias, and then you identify what is the sweep of recent liquidity. Well, it's obviously sell stops now. It was buy stops, now it's sell stops. Sweep of sell stops. So if you want to keep track on your screen in the early stages, just write sell stops and keep the current most recent sweep of liquidity, which is sell stops here, equals, and then your bias, which our bias right now is bearish. So that doesn't go together. With sell stops, obviously it must be bullish. It must be a bullish bias, which it isn't. So hopefully that makes sense. So the 5's going to be bearish regardless. We're trading inside of this gap and also this gap. Even once this is inversed, it would still be bearish straight away off that. Right, so Falcons now said fake out and then bullish again. So the idea of, you know, fake out is not a real thing. And then bullish again. We've already commented on his standpoint, but the idea of fake out is not a real thing. So price took sell stops and now it's seeking buy stops. But there isn't any probable scenario that you'd look to take a position in this case. He just needs to take some time really and just kind of do some education really. I mean, you know, there's always going to be people that are going to be against me. I mean, in all scenarios I've experienced it for only a very small minority. I mean, only very small minority. That's why you guys you get your backs up sometimes to to let them know that they're wrong. But I think it's good that we educate these people sometimes, you know. Because I'm only trying to help you guys. I mean, I don't even have to do this, and you guys are going to be my testimonials of my success, you know. So, you know, if you want to understand the reason why I'm even doing this is because I do actually have an outlook for this community. I don't know if I've told you guys, but basically when I look at taking on more clients and they have a set amount of capital they want to invest in the hedge fund, then they're going to ask for testimonials of my success, and obviously previous broker statements and payouts on prop firms, which I can provide everything along those lines. But people that I've helped in the past is kind of a small minority if you was to think about it. But when I have, you can see maybe sometimes 200 of you guys, but let's say 100 of you actually stick through the process, then I know at least, you know, a few of you guys will be more than happy of being a testimonial for a simple 30-minute or, you know, even a 10-minute call with a client. So that was my perspective and outlook on this, and I learned that from Tony Robbins, that if you change a few people's lives, They're forever going to be a testimonial of your success for future business. So that was a very good quote. It wasn't from Tony Robbins, it was from Tony Robbins' mentor, but I don't actually listen to that Tony Robbins guy, but he did have a good point about that, hence why I kind of took it on board. So you can see the 5 has cleaned up and is going to stay bearish as of now, and also with the 15 and the hourly. So to see a shift lower in structure as of now, if you look for a bullish order block within this space here, that's the invalidation low. So Colin, if you're wondering, that is also a 5-minute swing. So you'd be correct in saying that is the invalidation low. If we was looking for, you know, let's say a shift lower in structure. Now, we would have to see some sort of bullish order block be put in place. We don't have a bullish order block here, and nor do we have one here. So maybe we will put one in for price now, which we can then use. So even shifting lower in structure, it wouldn't be valid. So probable scenarios, if we go back to that, one thing that you guys already understand, but I'd say 90% of you guys understand, is probable scenarios of not just winning and losing trades. That's something that everyone understands. It's also frequency of trades that a lot of people don't really look at. So when we're backtesting, or you're backtesting through, let's say 2022, or you backtest 2018, or you backtest 2025, you know, with me, when we did it, well, I did it 3 times, and then we did one of 2025 all live, the same trades that we took, right? So when you actually look at that, it's very important that you write down frequency of trades. So was there a week where you took a maximum amount of trades? Was there a week when you didn't take a trade? Yes. So in October there was a 6 to 7 day trading day period. We didn't take positions for 6 to 7 days straight, and that month we closed for an 8R flat, wasn't it, in October? So scenarios like that, you want to expect it for the future, and you're going to have periods when, let's say, you'd have a losing trade, and then a few days will pass and a losing trade. So the time between positions, as I said, each trade that you take is its own probable outcome. It's random. So whether you win or lose that trade, it is a random event, but it's a probable case in your favor, obviously. So each result is random, and the one thing that a lot of traders actually misunderstand the concept of is that because they've not taken a position for, say, 5 days, the probable outcome of taking a position, if you waited 30 seconds or you waited, you know, 5 days or 5 weeks, is going to be the exact same. Considering it's a valid trade, it's going to be the exact same. So that doesn't change. Now, yeah, we put the bullish order block in, so now we could see a shift lower in structure, and then we'd be more than willing to look for shorts, and we sweat buy stops as well, which is even better. And yeah, that does bring us to the end of the PM session. So no trades inside of the PM. Yeah, so to end off this stream, I just want you guys to take away and just write down, especially let's say for next week, if you can actually be able to afford or even buy some more accounts, just look at adding it to your portfolio. So you're withholding accounts using risk management. So if you're below 1500, you're on half size, and then if your account's fine, then you're on full size for 300. But just, it's all about withholding the accounts that you currently have and then adding more. It's very important. So just keep building the portfolio, and then that's all that you need to focus on, and you'll start hitting towards 38 accounts, which is many of you guys' goals, and then you can start working towards 50 and 60 accounts. And I will add actually a section into the Discord for those of you that have already made it to that point, because some of you guys have already got to 60 accounts. I think one of you's actually, I think Jack for example, he's gone to a very big level, which is prop firms that I haven't even worked with myself. So he's done extremely well, which I mean I need to add a new point in this Discord. Instead of 38 accounts, I'll give you the full guide on how to get everything. Yeah. Drawdown auto 1130. Yeah, so D-Pain you should be on half size distance. I mean the drawdown doesn't say it too well there. That is Trader8's website. If you just click the drop down at the top where it says equity and it says your balance, just click the drop down button next to it, and it will basically say max drawdown with a green dot. If you hover over where it says $1 ... it will say your actual max drawdown. If that number's below 1500, then you go to half size, and that's very important, very crucial. So you actually, that's about withholding your account through the year, because you will come to a point where you'll lose it if you don't actually go to half size, because we risk $300 per trade, which is on the higher end for a 50k account, and then we go to 600 when you're scaled. So it was good speaking to you guys. I will see, most of you guys anyway, for the London session for Friday, which are going to be live at 2:20 AM EST. I'll speak to you guys shortly.